Yo, what's good fam? Welcome to one of these episodes where we're just going over the top of my head. I feel like these watch me edit videos, they are kind of cool for building a better connection because it's not just only raw knowledge that I'm passing on to you. I just find it as a good way to connect because I don't feel the pressure to make a very structured video. And there's more of me, I guess. So I have no idea what we're gonna create, but we're just gonna create something. Let's just have fun. Okay, let's create a new comp. I'm gonna try to make it a fast episode because I have to watch Game of Thrones. Call it animation, hit enter. Now I got more time to think about the animation than in the 10-minute challenge. What do we do next? I think we're gonna create a notification with transaction. I think it might look pretty cool. So let's say we're gonna create a shape. Now we're gonna change it up to fill. I feel like we could use a different color, like some sort of a grayish. Let's hit OK. And we're gonna keyframe size and uncheck constraint proportions. And now we should have an animation of notification being opened. Let's leave it like that, that'll be interesting. I'm actually gonna duplicate that layer and I'm gonna select them too, pre-compose, and what do we call it? Notification. Then that's gonna be somewhere on top, and we could kind of combine it with iPhone interface, I guess. I think I'm just gonna create another shape over here. Wait up. Yeah, it's kind of similar. I was just checking out iPhone interface. So yeah, we're gonna do it like that. I'm gonna put one here, and then this one is gonna be a bit bigger, but let me just do it for X. And I created these two in one layer. I didn't want to do that. So we're just gonna create another one in a different layer. I'm gonna copy rectangle 2, paste it here, delete the first one, and we're gonna delete the second one over here. So now if I select that layer, could put it here. I'm going really fast with this, but it's more of a just, watch me edit. So now I feel like we could recenter the anchor point, drag them somewhere here, and we're gonna create a slide-in effect. Okay, pretty cool, extremely slow. And now we're gonna create keyframes for opacity, and let's fade it in. I'm gonna offset one of those. Need to have these keyframes for opacity a little bit further. Let's go into our notification, and here I'm gonna hit U. I actually want to make it a little bit smaller within X, and I feel like we could also use opacity keyframes for the first layer. I'm starting to dislike that very slow movement, so we're gonna make a little adjustment here. Okay, I imported the imaginative outlines, and I have vision to just have the money over here, actually an outline of money. Then here we're gonna have a payment. Gonna move back here, we're gonna create the text. You just got paid. I'm gonna change the color actually to something grayish. And now the reason why I created the second one is because I want to use track matte. So I'm gonna change the track matte in our text to shape layer 2. And now as you can see, the text is being revealed with the shape. Let me know what do you think about episodes like that, where I'm just chilling and editing. Editing during the night without a particular purpose. Winter and a hot tea. It really can get better than that. I feel like we need to go to our opacity keyframes and squeeze them in over here. Honestly, I don't really like what I've created here. We're just gonna make a little adjustment. We're gonna drag them more downwards. Now we're gonna extend this, squeeze in the keyframes, ease them. Okay, that's better. I'm gonna use a very sharp graph in the beginning. Yeah, that's the movement I was going for. It's kind of looking like the one we've created before, but yeah, in my eyes it's different. I don't really like that it's uneven here. Paying attention to the details is extremely important. And yeah, I'm just not gonna do it right now. I gotta watch Game of Thrones. Alright, in the second shape layer, I would like to have the text, which would be like $109, whatever. You could change the color. I'm actually gonna grab the picker and choose that color. Let's hit OK. And now I actually imported imaginative outlines to have coins over here. So I'm gonna go to 11, grab an HD, copy and paste. And now if I change the scale and put them somewhere here, it should be all good. Let me just go to the settings. We're gonna increase the brush size to make it thicker, and we're also gonna change the color. That's what we got. I feel like we could actually extend the movement over here. Kind of want to make it slower. Even more. And now as for the text here, we're gonna slide it in from the right, like that. Let's use one of the graphs, and we're gonna duplicate shape layer 2, and we're gonna do the same what we did in our notification. So with track matte, I'm gonna select shape layer 3. Let's rename it to cover. We're gonna rename it first block, and then second block. Starts to look pretty good. Let's just adjust the timing. It's very fast with this movement. I feel like we could actually use that graph and extend that keyframe over here. And I'm also gonna offset that text. Okay, we got something here. Okay, let me just turn on the motion blur. I'm gonna select all the layers and pre-compose them. I'm gonna call it 1. And now I'm gonna create a new camera. Let's use 50mm preset, hit OK, OK again. New null object, parent the cam to the null. Rename. We need a different color. Now I'm gonna pull up something from Pro-Edit pack. We need a background. So we're just gonna go for maybe something minimalistic like jitter. This would look pretty good. Or maybe this. That's extremely slow. So I'm just gonna grab background number 5. I'm actually gonna take it in 4K. And since the scene is kind of white, I would like to have tint added to this. That's way better now. I'm gonna turn it into 3D and we're gonna move it away. Increase the scale. And I don't really want this to be sharp, so we're just gonna add Gaussian blur to this. That's looking pretty good. Now we're gonna grab our camera, put it below, and we're gonna create a movement for position. Let's move backwards like that, but I would like to have a mid-graph added to this. We're really far away. I feel like it's a mistake. We need to move just a tiny bit backwards. Yeah, that's good. Let's take smooth graph and maybe extend it. And now we could actually create a longer movement. Now we're gonna add something in the background. I'm gonna go to motion essence, animations. I'm gonna take the Polaroid. I'm gonna grab full HD and put them all here, actually above the background, and we're gonna turn them into 3D. I'm gonna move it away. Now let's increase the scale, and I'm gonna go into each of them and I'm gonna change what's in the placeholder. So I just grabbed my logo, and instead of the text, we're gonna leave it there. Wait up, I have to scale it down. This. It was actually quite unnecessary to add 3 of them, because if we go here, we could delete number 1 and number 2, and then just duplicate the one where we change the placeholder. So now whenever I apply a change, we're gonna apply the change to all 3 of them. So I feel like we could actually add exposure to this, and I'm just gonna lower it down. So now we're just gonna adjust everything like that. Let's put this one somewhere to the back, and now we're gonna duplicate this one more time and maybe put it somewhere in front of our text. I mean in front of our notification. So like that, and we're gonna scale it down. And we're gonna create a movement. I kind of like creating without a purpose. I always have to have a purpose with my edits. Alright, my camera died, we're back. So we ended up doing that movement, very bad movement. So we need to adjust the keyframes. I'm gonna actually keyframe it somewhere here, delete the last keyframe and extend it. The key to 3D editing is moving objects around, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna play around with other Polaroids in the background. So that's the front one, so we're just gonna keyframe position for these 3. Just slight movement, maybe from here. Okay, the second one will go maybe like that. We're gonna reverse the keyframes. Okay, and the third one will go from the bottom. I'm gonna reverse them as well. Now let's extend the distance. I think we're just gonna take that keyframe and maybe drag it here. Yeah, that's better. I feel like we need to move up with the camera, so I'm gonna hit U for cam control 1, and we're gonna take that position keyframe and drag it like that. I would still probably adjust it like that to just keep the blocks in the center of the screen. Yeah, that's good. You know what? I'm just thinking maybe we should create a new adjustment layer. We're gonna add tint, and I'm gonna change map white to green. So it's cool, but I'm gonna drag that layer below number 1. I kinda like it because we're creating an animation about the money, so the green color is matching the scene. Alright, I think we're just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna head over to the camera, open up transform, alt click point of interest, type in wiggle, then 1.3, 15. And then on top I'm gonna add vignette. I'm also gonna add a solid. Let's add a TV grid. I got a preset for this. I think we should actually add deep blue to the Polaroids. It might actually be a nice touch here. I'm gonna do it like that. Also, let's add curves, and we're gonna increase the blacks. Let's increase the exposure, changing my mind. A little adjustment for the curve. Alright, now I'm gonna copy these two effects and paste them into other 3 layers. I'm also gonna create another adjustment layer, and like I showed you in one of the previous episodes, I'm gonna add warp, and I'm gonna put that warp below that adjustment layer. Let me rename it. Here we have vignette, and then here we have TV lines. And what is that? That's tint. 25 might be a little bit too much, so we're gonna change it to 15. And I'm gonna definitely change the quality right now. I don't want After Effects to crash. I'm gonna open up camera, go to camera options, and we're gonna enable depth of field. Now we're gonna open up the second window, and we want to adjust the focus distance to our blocks. Like that, should be fine. Now I'm gonna increase the aperture to around 125. We could actually go for 200. Okay, now I'm gonna add another adjustment layer, call it posterize time. Let's add the effect. I'm gonna go with actually something very low, like 12. I'm also gonna turn on motion blur. That's really good. I'm gonna pull up something from Pro Edit Pack, something that works good as an overlay, which is the jitter. And then we're gonna grab number 1, and we're gonna turn it into the screen. And as you can see, we got these nice white stains kind of. That's looking really good. And we're not even on the full quality. Let's change it back to one view. One more thing I would do for the blocks is adding inner shadow. We could actually create more depth with this before and after. We actually came up with a pretty good animation. I didn't put in a lot of time because I gotta go watch Game of Thrones. I'm kind of happy because everybody has already seen that, and I have the pleasure of watching it and experiencing that masterpiece for the first time. So that'll be it for today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers guys.